In the name of God, in the name of without doubt is capable and voice, welcome to our own channel. I hope all of you be healthy and fine. Our solution is seeker is finder. Welcome day 4 episode of Learning AutoCAD 2021. So let's start. If you are remembering, in the previous session we were talk about the basic and important commands in AutoCAD. What were those commands? First of all, we talked about the explode. Explode means breaks the object, and the shortcut of explode is X. Then offset, the shortcut of offset is O. It means all of your project depends on offset. Offset, it means give a gap or give a copy of object from a distance. Then we have talked about the text. We have two type of text, as I told you, the multi-line and single line. Then dimension, we talk about different type of dimension. Then we had table. Then layer properties, I talk about layer properties, that how we can create the layer, how we can freeze, how we can delete the layer, and how we can use the canon the layer, and every option that we have in here, how we can determine the color of our layer, line type, line weight, transparency, all these things is also in here. Then we talk about the match properties, and as I told you that the three property of a line or object, it means color, that's a shortcut as COL, line type LT, and thickness is in here. If you type LT, you see line type will come here. Then line weight, if you type the line weight come. The shortcut of the first one, color of line, is COL, or you can choose by in here, or in here you should write COL, or the thickness or weight of the line, just you should use the LW. You can choose it. Then in here I should say something. You can choose the weight or thickness of your line. Then in millimeter or in inch. Display, you have to take more display. If you don't take more display, it will not give the 0.5 mm. In here also you have to display line weight. In here also you have to determine 0.5. Then adjust display scale, maximum or minimum, or you use for inch, it will come in inch, or use for millimeter. Then okay, because you know that the line is a thickness line be very small. In here, because of this, there is a small units. Then okay, and it will change to 0.5. It must change to 0.5. You see. Another thing that we talk about is, and the line type is just LT. Okay. So in this episode, I want to give information about the draw menu. In here we have a spline. The first thing that we have is spline. Actually, we have two type of the spline. One is Spline Fit, and then we have a Spline Cv. In a Spline Fit, when we want to draw the spline by fit points, we just select in different points, we can draw a spline. The second one is by Spline Cv. It means by reference points, by vertices points, we draw the spline. So what is a spline? A spline, if I say spline, it means it's a type of line. For example, we have in here polyline. If you remember, polyline, the shortcut of polyline is PL. And so that we can get the weight for polyline, and it is used for doors, for windows, and etc. is a freehand actually command. In a spline, if you work other projects, 3D projects, it means Revc professional projects, professional we can say programs, Lumion, Revit, there is a command by the name of the walking tool. In here, if we want to create a video of when our project is finished, we want to create a clip. If you use, I've seen in the maybe in the TV or in the Facebook and etc. So The direction where our project start and where our project ended, it's showing clear. By walking through, we just determine our direction. In here in AutoCAD, you know that the main focus of AutoCAD is in 2D. So in that case, we don't have the walking through option in here. So in here, we show our 2D plan direction just by spline. First of all, for example, you suppose that it's our project. The first thing that we should do in AutoCAD, first of all, we have to determine our units, and in here we can choose the centimeter. Then we have to determine our limits, 0, 0, enter, for example 2000, 2000, 20,000. Okay, then Z, enter. For example, suppose that we have a rectangle of the for example you have 200 by 500, 34 by 35. It's our rectangle. Now let me change the thickness in here. For example, 0.3 is okay. Then also you can change it by 0.3. Then in here if you see for example, our direction starts from in here. Just we have to go to spline by fit, and we should off the ortho, it means F8. Then choose the spline, or the shortcut of spline is a SPL. Right, SPL, and then here if you see we have methods by fit, we have to choose by points. Just click the points, and by points we can show our directions. And another thing that we have in here, we have a by CV. By reference of point. For example, in here if you see reference of that point, enter. So the difference, not just difference of by CV method, we just by vertex of point we can draw this point, and here by points. So another thing that we have construction line. What is a construction line? Construction line is an infinity line, and when we arrive in the for example in the elevation of our project, when we finish our 2D project, we arrive in the elevation of the project. On that time, for showing of the our elevation, we use the construction line. For example, you suppose that we have a rectangle of this. Then in here suppose that we F8 on auto. In here we have a room, then another room, suppose that we have in here, and suppose that in here also we have a window. In here you have to get a offset. In here you have to get an offset. How much offset? If you see offset, then select the offset distance, for example 35. Then select the object for offset. Okay, then suppose that we have a window in here, and then we have a window in here. Then also the door we have to get in a construction line. Then what's the shortcut of construction line? The shortcut of construction line is actually the shortcut of the construction line is actually XL. Okay, we have to draw the construction. In here we have intersect, in here we have window, in here we have door, in here we have the intersect of the bed rooms. On that place we have to draw the construction line. Construction line is an infinity line. We have two types of the construction line. One horizontal, second vertical. In horizontal, for example, for horizontal, write construction line XL, then V enter. Choose every constructed lines. like this. Then if you want to draw horizontal construction line, XL enter, H enter. In here, after finishing of every intersection point, you have to set your datum level. For example, and this enter. Then you can also trim, as I told you, you can trim these options. And also you can choose the extend. You can use the extend, and then you can click the shift. It will change to command of the trim. It means by command of the extend, just type EX, enter, then select the shift. It do the function of the trim. Okay, so now it's all about the Excel or construction. And also in here, if you see construction line, we can by angle also we can draw for each angle. For example, enter angle of X line, for example, 45 degree you have to draw. By 45 degree we can draw the construction line, and it's infinity. Then another option that we have in here, if you see in bisect, explain angle vertex point. In vertex point you have to, for example, in 560, and then angle start, for example, 445. And distance that we determine it by angle, it will draw it. So it's another option. Also the last option that we have an offset. By offset also we can. By which offset? For example, by 35 is okay. Then select the line, and by 35 we can draw another offset. Line object, for example, this. See, like this. So it's all about the construction line. X, Control A, delete all. Then we have another option, ray. The function of the ray and the function of the construction line is not different. It's the same actually. But if you see in a construction line, we can create a line by infinite length. But in an array, we can also create a line in where that starts at a point and continues to infinity. It starts from a point. And also it's also same, but construction line is the same. We can also draw the array horizontally or vertically. But in here we should, first of all, if you see in the construction line, our starting point and our end point is, we don't know. It's both is infinity. For example, XL enter, V enter. If you see, your starting point and your end point, you don't know. It's an unseen. But in ray, what is different? In ray, your start point is available, or you can see, but your end point you don't see. It means you are in construction line, your start point also is infinity and your end point is also infinity. But in an array, your start point is not infinity, but your end point is infinity. For example, it's actually, if you see, F8 on, it's a difference between construction line and array. Array, your start point is available, but your end point is not available. In construction line, both start and end point is not available. Then we have another option, multiple points. In points, actually it's used actually common use of the points in a stair when we want to draw the 3D stair. We use the points, and other for dividing of the points we use the points actually. So the first thing that we should do in here, for example, suppose that you have a line F8 on, it is your line. I want to divide this line for a 5 segment. So the shortcut is in here is a divide. and we have a common divide, or in here the shortcut is a div. Just select the object in which segment, for example for 7th segment, enter. It divided, but we cannot see because it divided by points, and you know line is created by the line by points. We have to change the format of points, and on that time we can see that in 7th segment that we divided our line. How we can change our format of point? But in here, no, but in here we cannot. In here we go the format. In here we have an option, point style. Change the point, for example, for this. And here you can change also the size, relative to screen, or relative to your unit that you determine. Also okay. If you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So on this side or this side. In here we have, and also the shortcut of point is a PO. For example, you have another line in here. In here, the shortcut of point is a PO. Enter. You see, just you can get, if you use by shortcut the command of point, you just can add 1 point. But if you use by here menu bar multiple point, you can use multiple point in every place that you want. Or PO enter. Oh yes, in here we don't have any command that we use multiple, and if you turn in, is that wrong? Then we have two type of dividing of the line. One by divide command and the second by measure. In here by divide, if you see, for example, how much segment in how much section I divided. But another option that we have in here is by measure. If you see in here we have by measure. So by measure, how? So by measure, how? If you see here, select by measure, we can divide the line by distance. By distance. In here we cannot determine, but if you divide the line by divide command, you cannot determine this distance between the points. You cannot determine. Okay, and here also you can change this format. Come to the dimension style, modify, as I told you these options. Then 20 not 40. Set as Karen. Okay, so that's also. So we cannot determine this distance, and so how we can divide a line by distance? We use measure. ME, the shortcut of measure. Select the object. If you see here, every command that you use, just read the command panel first of all. Select object to measure. Select the object. Then specify length of a segment. If you use in divide, so for example, if I am using in divide, if you see in divide, if you select the object, in here enter the number of segment. Just focus in here, enter the number of segment. But if you use the measure, in here it asks from you that specify length of segment. It means specify the distance of the segment. For example, by distance of 7. Now we see this difference between this and difference between this dividing. And this 7 is too much, so we can use in here. So now you are, I think you know that what is the difference in here. For example, by 3. is also too much. So by, for example, we can get measure by distance of 0.5. It's too much. So okay, now you know what is difference. Difference between measure and divide. Then another thing that we have in here, if you see, we have region. What is a region? You know that, for example, we have a rectangle, and in our this rectangle, this is our rectangle, and in here we had an option. We studied in the previous session, explode. It will break object for a compound object. Now it's a one object. If we divide it for a 4 object, just X, the shortcut of explode, enter, select the object, right click. Now it's a different object. If you see, different object it's. Now, how I just return to one object? One by block also we can use. The shortcut of the block is B. Another thing that we can do by region also. Select the region and select the object, right click or enter. It's return to one object. And another thing that we have in here is a wipeout. Wipeout doesn't have any base usage in AutoCAD, but we studied. For example, you can cover this object. For example, in here also you have a circle, and you want to cover this object that no one can see behind of this object. So you can use the wipeout. In here, specify first point. For example, it's our first point. And specify next point in here up to in here. No one can see us. Enter. If you see, you have to specify your points, and no one can see the back side of your object. It's called wipeout. Once again, for example, suppose that you have another, for example, polygon. 4 is okay, and then you have a rectangle, or you have a circle by 3 point, this point, or by tangent also you can draw this, but this. Now you can use the wipeout, first point, second point, and this point. Enter. No one can see this. It's all about the wipeout. Then 3D polyline, helix. These two options belongs to 3D AutoCAD that we will study on that time. Then we have donut. Create a filled circle or a void range. What's a donut? When we have a center to center a circle, you know that center to center means the radius is 0. So donut, or the shortcut of donut, is a DO. One, we have to determine the diameter of inside circle, and then outside circle 56. Then enter. Let me that I change the so I change the line width, then come to donate. It's our first, and it's our, for example, second. Let me that I draw it. Donate. Inside diameter, for example, I create inside, for example, I get 50, and outside I get 100. Enter. It's actually donate. And also you can draw done it by this is by not fill this. Okay, by inside. How? You have an option, fill it. Fill off this option. Then draw a donut. 50 inside, enter, outside, enter. See? So then we have also no on of the so then another option that we have is a revision cloud. We have three type of revision cloud: by rectangular, by polygonal, by freehand. The shortcut of revision cloud is actually revision or EVC. We have different option. We can draw the revision cloud by freehand. And here, for example, there is a and if you enter, you finish revision cloud. Is that you get the concept about revision cloud by meaning of revision cloud. Revision cloud, it means a cloud in the sky. If you draw it, then finish it, then it asks from you that it a reverse direction or no. You see, it's another reverse direction. And if I'm clicking to yes, it moves to reverse direction. In a revision cloud, for example, suppose that in here we have a circle. For example, suppose that in here we have a rectangle. In revision cloud or EVC, in here we have airplane. In here we have two type of the erg. One is small erg and then big erg. Airplane, if you see, specify the maximum airplane. For example, 56. Then specify the then if you see draw, and then we have to specify revision cloud. The shortcut of the erg is a. You have to determine the approximate length erg and minimum erg length. For example, if you select for approximate, then we can say revision cloud, first point, revision cloud A, 56 for maximum, then 23 for minimum. Now you can draw it. Maximum is 23 and minimum is maximum is 56 and minimum is 23. Then in revision cloud, another option that we have in here, we have object. So for example, in here we have rectangle, you can move it. And also change the by object option, it change the option into revision cloud. Revision cloud, the shortcut of the object is a O, or you can select by in here. Object change in a revision cloud, object, and select it. For example, yes, it changed the object to revision cloud. And it using projects in here that we have a main point or main nodes. In here we highlighted by the revision cloud. We have to text it, write it, and then we highlight it by revision cloud. Then in revision cloud, what we have, then we have rectangular. If we want to draw a rectangular, we can use by this. And the shortcut is a or E V and or. Then in revision cloud, another option that we have polygonal. When we want to draw polygonal place. Then we have freehand, and we can use also as a tool in the start of the revision cloud. Okay, so how you can draw it the revision cloud by freehand and by airplane. Then you have style, normal or calligraphy. It's a normal, and how about calligraphy? Calligraphy is like this. It's a calligraphy actually. And how about the normal style of revision cloud? Is a normal style of the revision cloud. It means calligraphy is like a bold, and this is normal is a normal. Then we have a modify. What does it mean modify? Select a polyline to modify. For example, in here I choose this to modify. For example, we draw a revision cloud, we escape the revision cloud command, then we need to continue our revision cloud line. So you can use the modify, and we can modify it and continue it. Okay, so it's all about the revision cloud, and it's all about the draw menu. What is spline? We have type of spline, fed by CV, then construction line. What is the difference between construction line and ray? Then points. What's the difference between multiple point and points? Then divide, how we can divide the line, by divide or by measure. Then region, then wipe out, donate, and revision cloud. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Have a nice time. Goodbye.